Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I made this really cozy lounge set. Specifically, we're going to be working on the pants. This is a very beginner-friendly, easy crochet pant tutorial. So I actually made this set for a flight I was taking. 2 days before leaving, I spontaneously decided that I want to make my own airport outfit. So this is what I came up with. The pants are really quick and easy. It's just a lot of repeating rows. I added this nice pocket detail here, so I'll be showing you guys how to make pockets. You can make them any size, you can make as many as you want, and I'll show you how to attach them. And then for the tie detail on the pants, this is just I believe it's called an I-cord. It's very strong and sturdy, so it'll keep them up. I didn't experience any issues with them slipping down, so that was great. And I added these wooden bead details to the ends here. So let's get started. For this project, I'm going to be using a 4.5mm hook, and this is the yarn that I used. Since this is based off of measurements, you can use any size yarn and any size hook. We're going to begin with a slip knot. I'm making the waistband of the pants, and I'm going to be making half double crochet foundation stitches to the size of my waist. So for me, that's about 25 inches. You're going to start with a chain up of 3, and then you're going to yarn over, go back into that very first chain you made, and you're going to grab both the front and the back loops. You're going to pull up a loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the top, that's going to be the foundation stitch. Yarn over, pull through all 3 for the half double crochet. And you're going to be working always into that V stitch in the back right there closest to the yarn. So let's make another one. We're going to yarn over, put our hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the top, and then yarn over and pull through 3 for the half double crochet. From here, you're just going to continue making half double crochet foundation stitches until you reach your waist measurement. Again, for me, that was about 25 inches. And here you can either use a tape measure to make sure it's long enough, or you can just wrap it around your waist and keep going until you reach the other side. Here is my completed half double crochet foundation chain, and now it's time to join the ends together. So I'm just straightening it out, make sure it's not twisted, and you want them to be facing the right way. Then you're going to place your hook back into the top of that very first stitch that we made, and we're going to be joining these 2 ends with a slip stitch. So you're grabbing the yarn and you're just pulling it through both sides, and it should join the 2 ends together. From here, we're going to chain 2 and turn our work. Now we're going to be working a half double crochet into every single stitch. We're working one right here into the very first stitch, the one that's connected to that chain 2 that we did. And then we're just going to place a half double crochet into every single stitch, and I'll show you what we're going to do when we get back to the other side. We now made it back to the beginning where we did that chain 2. We're going to place our hook into the top of that chain 2 right there, and we're doing another slip stitch. So we're bringing the yarn all the way through, and that will complete the row and join the 2 ends together. Now for the next row, we're doing a chain up of 2 and we're turning our work. And once again, we're placing a half double crochet into every single stitch, including that very first stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop, and then you're going to pull the yarn through all 3 loops on your hook for a half double crochet. I'm going to show you how to join the ends one more time. So into the top of that chain 2, you're doing a slip stitch, you're pulling the yarn all the way through, and that will join the 2 ends together. And then for the next round, we're doing a chain up of 2, and then once again half double crocheting into every single stitch. These half double crochet no increase rows will act as the waistband for the pants, so I did about 2 inches before starting my increases. To mark the sides for the increase, you're going to place that seam where we're joining the 2 ends together directly in the middle. Then you're going to find the 2 stitches on the very corners of the work you have so far, and this is where we're going to be placing 2 half double crochets for an increase to accommodate for the hip width. Once we've marked off the ends here, we're just going to half double crochet until we reach the stitch marker. And once we reach the stitch marker, I'm going to show you how we're going to be doing our increases. So we made it to the stitch marker. You're going to remove the stitch marker and place 1 half double crochet into that stitch. After I do this half double crochet, I like to put the stitch marker right back to maintain that side stitch. And then back into that very same stitch, we're adding 1 more half double crochet. So we're increasing by 1 stitch here. Then you're going to continue half double crocheting until you reach the other stitch marker, and I'll show you one more time. So you're going to remove the stitch marker, add 1 half double crochet into that stitch, and I like to put the stitch marker right back after that first half double crochet. And then into that same stitch, we're adding another half double crochet. So I did about 4 rows of these increases, and that reached the widest point of my hips. Everyone's measurements are going to be different, so you're going to add as many rows as necessary until you reach that measurement. Once you've completed your increase rows, you're just going to do regular no increase rows, just regular half double crochet rows until you reach the point where we're ready to do the crotch of the pant. So I'm just joining the ends here, and I've already marked off the other side, but you're going to mark with a stitch marker directly to the other side, so the other half, where we're going to be joining this crotch area. And you're going to do a chain that is long enough to accommodate for the crotch area. So for me, I did about 12 stitches. Then into that back stitch marker, we're going to join this chain to the other side of the pant, and we're going to do that with a slip stitch. So you're going to remove that stitch marker, you're placing your hook into that stitch, again that's directly to the other side where the seam hits, so directly in the middle, and you're doing a slip stitch. So you're just grabbing the yarn and pulling it through that stitch and through the loop on your hook, and that will join this chain to the other side. Now you're just going to add another slip stitch, and you're adding it into the very next stitch next to the one that you just slip stitched into. So you're pulling the yarn all the way through, and then we're doing a chain up of 1, and we're going to turn our work and we're going to start working into the chain. So you're going to be placing half double crochets into the chains here. You're putting your hook into just the top loop, not into both, because we're going to be working into the back loop later on when we work on the other pant leg. So half double crochet into the top loop of every stitch, so 12 stitches for me, down this crotch area until we reach the other side. So we've reached the end of our chain here. Here's my last half double crochet into that chain. And then to join this to the other side of the pant leg, we're going to find that first stitch after the chain right there, and we're doing another slip stitch. So you're just grabbing the yarn and pulling it through that stitch and through the loop on your hook. And that will connect the 2 sides together. From here, I'm just doing a chain up of 1. Once we do the chain up of 1, we're going to half double crochet into every single stitch, and we're going to just keep going round and round. I'm going to show you what the half double crochets are going to look like when we cross this crotch bridge area in a second here. So I came back all the way around, and now I made it to this crotch bridge. I don't even know if that's what it should be called, but I'm going to call it a crotch bridge. And we're going to be going into both the front and the back loops now, because we did the first row of half double crochet. And you're just going to half double crochet into every single stitch. And from here, it's pretty simple. You're just going to keep doing rounds and rounds and rounds of half double crochet until you reach your desired length for your pant leg. For me, I kept going until it reached about my ankle length. So you can just keep trying it on and checking yourself in the mirror to make sure it's long enough. And you're gonna just keep going round and round. Since both ends are connected, there's no need to do any slip stitches. You're just doing half double crochet rows. Once you reached your desired length, you're going to do a slip stitch into the very next stitch when you're done with the pant leg. And then we're going to do a chain up of 1, and now you can cut your yarn, pull it through, and secure it. Now that we've finished the first pant leg, we're going to go back and work on the second pant leg now. So we're going to be making a slip knot, and we're going to find that very first stitch at the base of the crotch bridge region, and we're going to place our hook right there into that first stitch, place the slip knot back on the hook, and pull the slip knot through that stitch. Once you've pulled it all the way through, we're going to do a chain up of 1 to secure. Here is our chain up of 1. Once we've done the chain, we're going to start half double crocheting into every single stitch, and we're going to half double crochet all the way around. I'm just going to show you what the half double crochet is going to look like for this first row across that crotch chain that we did earlier. Remember, for the other pant leg, we worked into the front loops across that chain, so now we have the back loops remaining. It's that very top loop right there. I should have 12 because I did 12 chains for this region. And I'm just going to be doing half double crochets into that remaining loop right there. When we get to the other side, back to that chain one we did at the very beginning where we pulled the slip knot through that stitch, I'm not going to do a slip stitch or anything. I'm just going to continue making half double crochets all the way around, and that should just join the two sides together. And then you just keep doing what you did with the other side, where you keep making rows going round and round of making half double crochets until it reaches the same length as the other pant leg. Then you're going to slip stitch into the very next stitch, chain 1, cut the yarn, pull through, and secure. Now let's work on making the pocket. I like to make the pockets with a smaller hook. This is a 4mm hook. And I'm going to start off with a chain up of 3. So we're doing double crochet foundation stitches. Earlier we did half double crochet foundation stitches. So you're going to yarn over, go into that very first chain you made, grabbing the front and the back loop. You're going to pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the top for the foundation, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 2 more for a double crochet. Again, we're working into that V stitch in the back here. So we're going to pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through the top, which is the foundation, and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 more for a double crochet. And you're going to keep making these foundation double crochet stitches until it is the length of the pocket that you desire. For demonstration purposes, I'm making a smaller pocket. Now I'm ready for row 2, so you're going to chain 2 and turn your work, and we're going to double crochet into every single stitch, including this very first stitch. So yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2 more, and this will be a double crochet. And you're just double crocheting all the way down into every single stitch. I go into the very first stitch so I don't have to work into that chain 2 at the end. When you reach the end of the row, you're going to repeat, so you're going to chain 2, turn your work, and double crochet into every single stitch, including that very first stitch that holds the chain 2, because we're not going to be working into the chain 2 space at the very end of the row. Pretty much you're just going to keep working double crochet rows until it's as long as you want the pocket to be. So I made mine for my pants. I made them a little bit longer, and it's like a rectangular shape, but you can make them square, you can make them smaller, you can make them bigger, and you can add as many pockets as you'd like. When we're done with the pocket size, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work to the side, and we're going to clean up our work by adding single crochets along the perimeter. I like to add 2 single crochets into the corner, so I just added 2 into the corner there. And now I'm going to add single crochets along the edges. Doesn't really matter where you place the single crochets as long as the stitches are fairly evenly spaced out. Once again, I'm just showing you how to put 2 single crochets into the corners. There's the first, and into that very same stitch, 1 more single crochets, and this will just square out the corners. And then you're going to go around and single crochet all the way along the entire perimeter. When you finish, you go back into that very first single crochet you made, and you're going to do a slip stitch, and that should finish the pocket. Then you're going to chain 1, cut the yarn, and pull it all the way through, and that will detach the pocket from the yarn. Now we're going to work on the drawstring. So we're going to start with the slip knot, and I'm using a 4mm hook here, and we're going to start with a chain up of 3. This is going to be the I-cord stitch. So you're going to go into that second chain, grabbing the front and back loops, and pull up a loop. Go into the third chain, or the first chain that we made, pulling up a loop. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to take your hook out of the second and third loops. You're going to pull up a loop through that loop on your hook. You're going to put your hook back into the second loop, pull up a loop, and then your hook back into that third loop and pull up a loop. And once again, you have 3 loops on your hook, and you're going to pull up gently to give yourself space. And you just repeat that. So you drop the second and third loops, you pull up a loop through the loop on your hook, hook back into the second loop, pull up a loop, hook back into the third loop, and pull up a loop. This might take a little bit of practice. You need to hold those loops securely so they don't get lost. And it may take practice to put the hook back into the loops. But once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. It's just the same pattern repeating over and over again. And this creates a very secure cord. So you're just going to keep doing this until it reaches the length that you can use for the waistband area. Once you finish, you're just going to weave that cord in and out through the top of the waistband like so. I just weaved it in and out using my fingers through the stitches. And here I'm just showing you how I attach that bead detail. I used a darning needle, and I just pulled that loose yarn from the cord all the way through the bead. If anyone's interested, I got these wooden beads from Michael's. And then to secure the bead and to secure the drawstring, if you don't use a bead, I would still make this knot anyway to secure the drawstring. You're just going to make a knot at the end, like so, and then I push the bead down to secure it. Once you do that, you're going to weave in those loose ends. And I just like to weave it in and out of that knot there. And then you're going to do the same exact thing on the other side if you have a wooden bead. If not, you're just going to make the knot and weave in the ends into the knot. And there you have your drawstring. Now it's time to add our pockets. So we're going to grab the pockets that we made earlier, and we're going to figure out where we want to place the pockets before we sew anything on. I wanted my pockets to be more on the side of the pants, so I'm just going to shift the pants around, and you want to make sure that everything is laid out flat. You want to align the rows of the pocket with the rows of the pant just to make sure that the pocket isn't crooked. Then you're going to use a darning needle and pull some yarn through. And then to attach the pocket, I go into the pant to hide the ends, and I'm going into the very corner right there at the top of the pocket. And I'm pulling the yarn through, not all the way, so it's doubled up right now. And then I'm going to weave the needle back in to the back. You want to make sure that you don't accidentally pull the needle all the way through to the other side of the pants. Once you've attached our pockets, we're all done, and this is what our final product should look like. If you guys are also interested in how I made the tube top for this set, please let me know in the comment section below. It's very simple and easy to make. As usual, I have many more tutorials on the way, so please stay tuned. Subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye everyone!